Hey guys, welcome to the videos where I break down my rules one by one. I go through what the rule is, what it looks like to follow that rule in my relationship, and what the consequence is if I don't. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the rule that I have that I am not to change Coda's decisions, and even beyond that, I am not to manipulate his decision making. And so what this really comes down to is respecting the fact that Coda has the power and authority to make decisions in our relationship, and it is not my job to kind of insert myself into that process. I used to be really bad about this. This was something that I really had to work on and develop and grow, because it is not my role to insert myself into the decision-making process. It is my role to yield to Coda's decisions, to submit to his decisions, and to obey his decisions. And so this really is about understanding his role and the responsibilities within his role, and my role and the responsibilities within my role. Now, what this does not mean that I do not get to have an opinion, a preference, that I don't get to have a voice in my relationship. I definitely have opinions and preferences and insights, and I get to share those with Coda. He's very open to me sharing my opinions, my preferences, my desires, my wants, my needs, my perspectives, all of the things. He wants all that information from me so that when he goes to make a decision, he can do so with all the information at his disposal. So I am not voiceless in my relationship, and this rule is not about making me voiceless. What it really is about is that understanding the time and place for those conversations to happen, understanding that once Coda has made a decision, that is final, that the discussion is no longer ongoing, that it is over, that the decision has been made, and now it's time for me to accept that decision and come under it. So what that looks like is that if Coda is coming up to a point where a decision needs to be made about something, and I can ask him if he would like my insight, if he would like my input, my preference, my whatever the case may be, whatever is appropriate. I can ask if he's open to hearing that, and he may or may not be, depending on the situation, depending on the circumstance, depending on what the decision is. Or sometimes he will come to me and ask if I have anything to offer before he makes a final decision. And so all of that to say, there is a time for those conversations to happen, and I can either ask if he's open to that. Most of the time he initiates that conversation. But if he's not, if he's like, no, I have what I need to make a decision here, so you just need to wait and see what that decision is, then I do that. I feel like there's this misconception that not being able to be part of the decision-making process makes me less of a partner in my relationship. And I really don't like the term partner, because that creates this idea that Coda and I are equals, and we're not. Our relationship is not set up to be equal. Coda values me. He sees me as precious and valuable and someone he wants to protect and provide for and do all of the things, but I am not equal in the authority and decision-making power in our relationship, and I understand that, and I'm okay with that, and that's something that I actually find a lot of comfort and enjoyment in. I enjoy the fact that I can lean on Coda for those decisions, that I don't have to be part of those, part of that process. It doesn't take away my autonomy. It doesn't take away my adulthood to choose to come under authority. So don't misconstrue what the dynamic is, because really at the end of the day, it's just about understanding the roles that we have chosen to put into place in our relationship, so that we can live within our roles, so that we can have success in our relationships, so that we can, cut down on arguments, cut down on miscommunications, cut down on misunderstandings, because once he makes a decision, he tells me what that decision is. He tells me if there's anything specific that I need to do to adhere to that decision. And then I do those things. I am obedient in that way. And I don't push back. I don't try to misinterpret. I don't try to manipulate. I don't try to insert little ways of, well, maybe if I just do it this way, he'll like it better. None of that happens because it would be really, really disrespectful and borderline disobedient depending on what I'm doing. So because of all that, it is a punishment if I really push back, if I really start to try to be manipulative in my relationship, if I try to change his decision. This is just something that Coda has said, that if he pinpoints that I have not followed his directions, if I'm trying to change his decisions, if I'm trying to manipulate how he makes a decision, it's just going to be a punishment, because that is the most appropriate way to communicate to me that this is his job. Making the decisions is his job, and I need to take myself out of that process. And because it is something that I've struggled with in the past, I think he wanted to create a very firm boundary around that being unacceptable in our relationship. And because it's a punishment, it is a higher deterrent. So that is what that is. I'd love to know what you think about it. Leave a comment down below. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will talk to you guys next time.